Hey, grown folks, this is Donna Smith, aka Lady D, bringing you some grown folk topics and discussion. Tonight, I'd like to talk to you about being in a situation where there's one sided giving and taking in a relationship. Now, you should come 50-50 together, and you both should give 50-50. You shouldn't have one person pulling, one person giving, one person pulling, one person giving. I mean, you know, to have a balance, to have things work, you got to do what you got to do together. You got to row that boat together. Well, there's a lot of, I would say, people who would not agree with that. They would say, well, you know, I'm more of the giver in the relationship, and the other person receives, and it's okay because they take care of other things and they do other things, so they can't really give as much as I do. Now, mind you, we're not talking about giving of material things or monetary things. We're talking about giving of emotions, time, love, honesty, respect, loyalty, which is a big one. And then those other things come and kind of strike a balance. And also we're talking about sex. So you have those who are more so takers than givers. And a lot of times I would say in some relationships, I'm not going to say all, but some are okay with that. And, so I just wanted to kind of open that up tonight and see what you're thinking because, every relationship is uniquely different. Every person involved is uniquely different. Men are so different from women. Women are so different from men. But we come together and we try to balance one another and accept one for who they are. But your relationship is not necessarily going to be the same as your friend's relationship or your relative's relationship or their marriage or what have you. Those are two uniquely different people with uniquely different scenarios, situations, temperament, and it's just no way to compare or balance that. And then to kind of dig deeper, um, you can't really compare what you're going through to someone who, say, like just got out of something and they're bitter and they're single and they're trying to tell you what's best for you in your situation because they're bitter about what happened in theirs. That's a big no red flag because a person can't tell you about your situation. You're in that, you and your dude, you and your woman, and that is your thing. And that's where a lot of people get so twisted in this vine of trying to compare or trying to get advice from others who you just don't even know what their motives are sometimes. You have those situations where they can be jealous of what you have. You have the situations where they're lonely and bitter. So shoot, they want everybody to be lonely and bitter. They're haters. Um, they want who you have. I mean, you have all these different scenarios. I don't care how much a person care about you, love you, how close you've been, whatever. Everybody has their own internal things that they're dealing with. And the first thing they want to do is give you advice about yours. Now, mind you, if you have a good friend that asks you for some advice on something and you just want to give them your heartfelt, you know, um, where you're coming from advice, by all means do that. At the same time, make them realize that ultimately it's their decision. You're just sharing because they opened up to you and asked. But to just have that messy bussy that's just always in there trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't be doing, and then you look over at their situation and it's a hot mess, and you're like, why are they telling me? And they, who does that? So anyway, just be mindful of that. And, if you've been in situations where someone has tried to stir your pot or poison your situation or compare or try to tell you what you should be doing and shouldn't be doing with your man or your woman, how did you handle that? Especially somebody that you cool with, that y'all, man, y'all like this. And so, you've been through some things, and you trust where they're coming from, but their situation is all jacked up themselves. What do you think about that? What do you have to say? What's on your mind? What do you like to share? What have you been through where somebody's tried to be all up in yours and they couldn't even relate or try to help you fix nothing, even though they meant well, you thought, um, because they're not a good example, you know. And excuse me, I'll bring that back to, how can you tell me about rearing children when you've never been a parent? How can you tell me about marriage and you've never been married? How can you tell me about a relationship when you haven't been in one in umpteen years? How can you tell me about drugs when you've never been addicted? Those type of things. So, you want to get feedback from somebody that's unbiased, that you really feel that is not trying to favor one way or another, but keeping it 100 if you have to go there, because we all need somebody to talk to sometime, and to help us through a few things that we're dealing with. You just want to kind of throw it out there, but you got to trust who you do that with, and everybody's not worthy of you doing that with, and you have to really you just need to be careful about that. The best case scenario is to pray about it, or to try to communicate and talk directly to the source, the situation, the person you're dealing with, or what have you. But outside information sometimes can be very confusing, very judgmental, and it could cause you to lose out on something that's very, very good for you and that was righteous by you. So just keep that in mind. I like to know how you feel, what you're thinking, what you've been through. Share it. Hit us up. Leave a message. Leave a message under this video. Let me know. I'm waiting. And everybody else is too. I'm Donna Smith, aka Lady D. It's been a pleasure. I can be reached at DGRIER12000 at yahoo.com. I can be reached on Facebook under Donna Smith, on my YouTube channel under Donna Smith, aka Lady D, Miss Lady D, and also on Twitter, Miss Lady D111. So please chime in, share this, think about it, let it marinate, talk about it with somebody, and come back at us with how you feel. Good night, y'all. See you soon.